Good Friday evening, August 30th, 2024. College football is back. I know we had a college football game last weekend. We had Georgia Tech beating on Florida State, but this is like the real weekend of college football. And I must admit, as a Michigander, I'm a diehard Michigan fan. Call me cheater, whatever you want. Don't care. And I made a promise to myself. I love football so much. I love college and pro football. I'm going to try to be it's probably going to be really tough, but I'm going to try to be a neutral fan this year without feeling stressed out during Michigan games. We'll see how that goes. I am watching Michigan State right now, which it's always enjoyable to watch them struggle, but they're struggling bad against Florida Atlantic University and having some quarterback issues. It would seem 16-10 going into the third. Yeesh. You got Oklahoma whooping on Temple, Stanford and TCU tonight. Stanford's in the ACC now. Weird. Whatever. You're not here to talk about football. I love it, but this is one of the million things I love. I have way too many hobbies, more than I know what to do with. I'm Dr. Jesse Roberts. I'm a historian, writer, content creator, guy with far too many hobbies and interests. So we got Elon Musk saying F you to Brazil, essentially, when it comes down to appointing a legal advisor or something to Brazil over the platform X. So Brazil is basically putting out an order that X is no longer available in that country. Kind of seems like a hard thing to do to ensure that something accessible over the internet is not available in your country. And it's this like, authoritarian Supreme Court judge over there ordering. Basically it's this one person, okay? This one guy who is kind of just accrued this ability to be very heavy-handed over there, and thought, it'd be fun to do. I'll become a Supreme Court justice someday, and then I'll destroy the country that I live in. I'll make it miserable for everybody else because it's enjoyable for me. I don't understand people like that. Oh, is that too bright? I don't know. I don't understand people like that. Do I look like a ghost? What drives a person to be like this guy? Where you just want to make everybody in you can't pretend like you care about making people happy in the country you want to control. You can't even pretend that's the case. Because Brazil used to be a pretty cool place, I think. It used to be like relatively free, and it was actually at one point one of like the best places to live in the world. And then you got people like this, and I've been railing on this for the last several days, that around the world you have this rise in people that really like to be authoritarian. It's just a thing that's going on right now. You see it in Europe, you're seeing it in Australia, you see it in Canada, you see it in Brazil, it's just amazing to me. And then there's like just Argentina's like the only place, like, we're gonna go libertarian, and it's like a stamp of finger, it's so much better. Right? But you look at this guy in Brazil and it's like, why? What makes you want to be that way? What's your premise for why you think what you're doing is right? Because yes, they may have a bent on power, but I'm sure somewhere deep down inside, this guy thinks that he's got his idea is, like good intentions, right? This is that the thing. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Dictators throughout history have used their good intentions to instill horrific things. And it makes me wonder, does this guy have good intentions in his mind, but everybody else says no? Like, how is it one person can be so powerful? And you have all these people, obviously, that are willing to go along with your plan, but it's like, I want to make the rest of the citizens of my country miserable because of insert reason here. What is it? Is it just he genuinely just wants to be a colossal D-bag and ruin the lives of Brazilians everywhere? I mean, it sure seems kind of hard to imagine a country like Brazil overwhelmingly being ruled by a totalitarian type force. The reason I say that is because a lot of times in countries, it's harder these days, it seems like, to have that type of rule, unless you have a complete control over all the structures of your society, and that's a lot easier in, like, countries that are struggling financially, third world countries, things like that. It's just hard to imagine a great country like Brazil just falling under that, and the people just taking it because it's like, well, they have to take it. What are they going to do? They can't fight back, right? The United States of America, like, we're on the cusp of being next in line here, because you go on the list of all the countries in the world that have basically gone full draconian. Tell me one that hasn't. Look at 2020 till now and tell me who hasn't been extreme. And yesterday I shared a video. It was the only video I put out, but about the UN, and it was a legal advisor or something to the UN, a legal analyst of some kind or whatever, talking about the dangers of Trump because he's a danger to globalism. He's a danger to the UN, which means he's a danger to their globalist agenda. And he says the United States of America is a huge threat. Trump's a huge threat. And the biggest problem with America is the states. The states themselves are the impediment to our globalist stuff. And, like, you have to look at what's going on, and our federal government is becoming so big. It's already been big, but the size of our administrative state is so bloated and so big, and there are so many laws on the books, it's impossible to do anything without just blowing money and going through red tape. So if they, if the federal government could somehow, if I can promise you this, if the United States of America passes some sort of hate speech laws, they're done. It's done. America's done. Like, that will be the end of this country's freedom of speech. They'll pretend like you still can speak what you want, but misinformation and hate speech are banned. And that's why I think it's crucial that we keep the former, COVID lockdown authoritarian Tim Walz himself out of office, and he said blatantly that the Constitution does not protect your right to free speech or to hate speech or misinformation. Misinformation is just, you're just misinformed. It's not like you're purposely trying to sow confusion. You're just misinformed. I promise you that most of the things that were misinformation over the years turned out to be, they were wrong. It doesn't matter, though. If they can make things misinformation and have a legal way to enforce it, then you won't be able to call them out for being wrong. And what the point of that is they know that the biggest threat to them is, we have all these people in our country now that are doing, like, the independent journalism thing, and they're fact checking. And look at how hard it is for the Kamala Harris Walz campaign right now to do anything, because they lie, and they're getting fact checked in real time. There are Twitter accounts set up that are just solely the minute they speak. And that's what I don't understand, why, like, people like Biden, people like Walz and Harris, people like Trump, why do these people, they'll just blatantly lie sometimes? I mean, especially with the Harris Walz campaign, it's like nothing but lies. They don't realize that we have the internet. We can check you on things. And with the sophistication of how people can investigate things online now, they will call you out in an instant. And I think that's what's the threat, right? If they didn't have the ability to do that, or you didn't have a voice, then they could just continue to be the purveyors of government organized bullcrap, and you would have to accept it because you wouldn't be able to, and any chance to call it out would be instantly met by probably legal action, or you're seeing this kind of stuff happen. And you have to really thank God every day that Elon Musk bought X. Now, I know the lefties are completely butthurt about it, and they're just freaking out about it, and they're pissed that there's no moderation, and their censorship is gone. But with everything else in tech being controlled by the leftist machine and mainstream media, including even Fox News being leftist, controlled by leftists or controlled by establishment Republicans, who are basically just uniparty people, like you're talking about, that's the control on that's the control on speech in this country. Because we're all online. We're all terminally online. You're watching this online. Me, like everybody else, I carry phone with me at all times, and I spend plenty of time online. I do it all. I mean, I work online. I'm a writer and a historian. And the nice thing about the internet is, as a historian, I can just do my job I could do research online. I could do my writing online. I write my articles, my books, I do copywriting for, like, people will pay me to write blogs and articles and stuff, right? Like, I can do that from home because of the internet. And it's just like, we're all just online, and if they had the complete control structure of the internet, it would just be like, I mean, they could do whatever they wanted, and they realize this. And that's why countries like Brazil want to ban platforms like X, because they're not trying to ban Facebook. They're not trying to ban Instagram. They're not trying to ban anything like that. They're not trying to ban Threads. I mean, who uses Threads? Allegedly, Threads has like this massive user base, but I'm not trying to ban any of that. Why? Well, because they're not the threat. The threat is the free speech platform. The threat is the place where people from Brazil can get on and voice their concerns, or they can dissent. That's the threat. And this shows you how widespread this push to control us, to control people, has become. People are using the government positions as a gateway to shaping the world into the form they want. And it's, who knows what that is, but it certainly is one where the United States is the threat. And the United States is a threat for one reason only. It's because of the liberties we have here to express ourselves freely. You saw this during COVID, during the virus, the pandemic. There was it was hard to police the United States because we have natural rights in this country. You're born with these inalienable rights. You're allowed to speak your mind, and you're allowed to dissent. And if it was up to people like Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, this guy in Brazil, you would not have those rights been scrubbed immediately, especially during, if it was in the name of safety, which it's always in the name of safety. You know, it's like, we want to keep you safe. We have to really, people are dying out there because there's free speech. They're injecting bleach and they're eating horse paste. It's like, it's always in the name of safety. No, it's not. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. If you think that they actually care about you, like, look around you. What are they doing for you? They mock you. They are the same people that vote to give your money away to Ukraine, and then they wave little Ukrainian flags on the floor of the Senate to mock you. What is that doing, waving that flag doing? What are they doing that for? They're doing that to tell you, they know there's people out there that say this money shouldn't go to a foreign war, we want America to be the focus. And they're laughing at you. Ha, look at what we did with money that's not ours. Those are the people that they want to shape this the way they have it. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. There's not a benevolent political party out there. It is about getting elected. It is about taking in donors and making money, and it is about an overarching agenda. And it does not draw extraordinary people. Like, it draws very mediocre people that really probably couldn't do, people that wouldn't really be that great at much of anything else aside from being charismatic and speaking well and pretending like they're being good actors, right? And they're power hungry, and a lot of them, it's like, I'm sure there's people in there that get in, they're like, I'm doing this for a benevolent reason, and I'm sure those people, if you really are that way, don't last long. There are good people out there. I'm not saying they're like Thomas Massey is great. I like Matt Gaetz a lot. What have you. If you look at even like Donald Trump is a billionaire, okay? He's probably been a pretty ruthless businessman his whole life. Good for him, right? That's just, you have every right to do that in America, and I don't think you should be punished for being wealthy. There's a thing in this country now where they want to punish people just for accruing wealth. But, he is far more likely to make a push for a position like that than I ever would. I'm just not interested in it. And it appeals to people like that. And I do think there are a lot of people out there who will take these positions, and it will corrupt them pretty quickly, even if they go into it with good intentions. And they're not doing it anymore because of you. Mitch McConnell said America first is nonsense. It is to the people that have a more globalist type of agenda. That's what you're seeing with that thing I shared yesterday. These people, like, America first is nonsense, because America is the most powerful country in the world. It's the richest country, one of the richest countries in the world. It basically dictates so many things around the world. From a military standpoint, it's the world's strongest military, and the American people are very outspoken, and they have the right to express themselves. It's the major cog where if they could somehow get it, it would all fall into place, right? So you're seeing this now with what's going on in Brazil, that they're just continuing this pattern of they're trying to sweep out this idea that ordinary people should have a say, because it's the wealthy people, it's the powerful people, it's the and it's like these people that are like, it's like I said, they're mediocre people usually, but they pretend like they're extraordinary because they're in positions of power. And a lot of times that happens in politics. Like, do you think Kamala Harris knows? I think she studied economics in school, but do you think she knows anything about economics? No. At least she certainly doesn't seem to act like it, because they don't really understand what inflation is. They don't really understand how to solve it. I can assure you it's a pretty simple thing to do. What about, like when she comes out with her economic plan, is that her? Is it, if you sit down and you want to become president, do you sit there and draw out this massive plan that you just are so brilliant at everything, you know exactly how you're going to map it out? No. It's an administration. It's a group effort. So, but it's people that think that they're compelled to oversee us peons and peasants. That's what it comes down to. Now, this thing with Brazil, it's quite fascinating. Is here, I'll show you the article. Is this the right one? Yeah. Let's Let's learn something together. All right, so Brazil's top court orders nationwide suspension of Elon Musk's X. This is the bullet points. The Supreme Court on Friday ordered a nationwide suspension of Musk's social media network after the company vowed to defy earlier court orders. The court announced on Wednesday that Musk and X Corp had 24 hours to appoint legal representative for their business in Brazil or face penalty of suspension of activities there. The court's top judge, Alexander de Moraes, has also called for daily fines on people and businesses in Brazil that use VPNs and other methods to access X while the site is banned in the country. See that? You're going to get fined if you use a VPN. Brazil's Supreme Court on Friday ordered a nationwide suspension of X after the company vowed to defy earlier court orders concerning content moderation and the appointment of a legal representative in the country. So Alexander de Moraes, the top judge, ordered daily fines. Okay, so we know this. The court issued a statement via its government website on Brazil on Friday saying that it had ordered the immediate and complete suspension of the operation of X, formerly Twitter, throughout the national territory until the court's judicial decisions are complied with and fines are paid. The statement also said that the order will be valid until a representative of the company in the country is appointed. Yeah, sure. Hours later, the court issued a second order suspending some of the measures in its first 51-page order against X. Initially, de Moraes gave companies like Apple and Google 5 days to stop offering it on their app stores and to stop making VPN apps available to access it. Isn't that like they're going to stop? They're going to end the capability of people to download VPNs because they need to be able to track what you're doing. The second order eliminated that deadline and put off implementation of these measures. I am sorry, I am like having a tongue twister tonight. Measures until further notice, giving time for X to pay fines, put a legal representative in place. Brazil's Supreme Court announced on Wednesday that Musk and X had 24 hours either to appoint a legal representative for its business there or face a penalty of suspension of activities nationwide, which passed Thursday evening. So X knew they were going to shut it down. Of course, Brazil is preparing for elections, upcoming elections here. Under Brazil's laws, social media companies operating in the country must employ someone to handle government takedown notices, including those regarding political misinformation and incitements of violence. Oh, political misinformation. X has no such representative in Brazil. It said earlier this month that it would remove all its employees from the country rather than face any possible arrests over non-compliance with those orders. And that's Elon Musk protecting people that work for X. Suspension of X in Brazil could cause business problems for Musk's already embattled company. Of course, this is CNBC, so they, hate Elon Musk. Brazil has a population of more than 171 million active social media users, according to the market research by Owaska. So they're just talking about this. He reinstated banned and suspended accounts, leading many major advertisers to flee or cut spending on campaign ads. Oh, you mean people that didn't want to have, people that wanted to control everything. Right. Oh, man. This is not looking good for Michigan State. 16-10, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So the World Bank stopped paying for campaigns on X after a CBS News investigation found ads from the organization appeared under a racist post. So what they were doing is they would go to these sources, these people posting on X, and they would refresh the feed until they could be like, look at what ad, your ad appeared next to this post. It's just an excuse. Like, it's all one big conglomeration, everybody. They're all doing this together. They're all in on this together. It's what it is. It is not like there's a concerted effort for things like this going on with the corporations even, they clearly want to direct everything to go in a certain way, and that they basically colluded to say we're not going to advertise on this platform anymore. Like, and they're kind of all sharing the same mindsets that go with all of these other you know, things that are doing that. Sorry, texting about this football game. Me and my Michigan boys are following this situation closely. So it's all together. It's all just seems like it's all just one big unified happy family, right? And so what they have going on here is Elon Musk doesn't want to appoint a legal representative from his company to go to Brazil, because what's going to happen is Brazil's going to show up with their people, knock on the door and say, listen, you better take down this account. You need to ban this, whatever. And he'll say no. Or he'll tell the legal representative no. And the legal representative will turn around and go, he said no. And then he'll say, okay, Elon Musk, you have X amount of hours to have your legal rep do this, or they're going to be in trouble. So Elon Musk is just protecting people that work for him. Think about that. That's a big deal to say, you know, I care more about what will happen to my Brazil employees than the money this is going to cost me. You know, and there are lots of big companies, we know which ones you could think of, who would absolutely comply if the potential threat of losing money came across the table, especially a major market like this. And there are not very many true free speech platforms out there. I swear I'm not having a stroke. I am like, I'm all tongue twistery tonight. So they have free speech platforms are Rumble and X. And then of course there are some other ones. There's some good ones, BitChute, Odyssey, etc. Right? Like they're out there. These companies, but the big ones, Rumble and X, they've had to like basically say F you to other countries before. Rumble just basically doesn't go anywhere that they're going to have the potential of being censored, because that's their whole business platform. If they decided to go, we're going to start having heavy censorship and moderation, they probably would get more advertisers, but then they would just be a less superior version of YouTube. I mean, that's what it would come down to. There would be no market there. When you build your whole market on this idea, that's you're guaranteeing that's what you have to stand by. And of course, so they have to be banned in these countries. And what's fascinating is it says the court is ruling this is happening. We can probably infer who is driving this conversation, who is driving them towards this decision. I don't know if it's a court-wide decision. Okay. There's I can't think of his name. There's a guy out there who he lives in Florida now, but he's Brazilian. His grandfather or somebody was formerly the president of Brazil. Let's see here. Now I gotta find it. Give me 1 second here. And he always talks about this stuff. He talks about how just this guy is very powerful. Let's see. Sorry, it's once I see it, I'll know. So Bolsonaro was the guy that. So Da Silva is the new guy. You guys, who are watching this, probably like, you know his name. Is it Figueiredo? And it's like his grandson or something. Is on X. He does, he's always talking out against. Is it Paulo Figueiredo? Yeah. Okay, so this guy, Paulo Figueiredo, you can find him on X. He writes for the Epic Times and stuff, and he has talked about this a lot, how this Supreme Court judge guy, this whatever the name is. I read it in the article there. Is it Moraes or something? You know, he's got a lot of power. And this guy is going to ban X in the country. One person is going to say 171 million people, you can't use this platform. And X is going to have to comply. Well, the X isn't going to have to comply. The country is going to comply. And it's fascinating to me that to protect one ideology of power, they're going to do this for their entire country. And they're going to ban VPNs or fine people that use them. Don't you think that's a little bit more of a threat to you if you're just banning people's ability to live their lives? I mean, I do this, okay? I do, like, I talk about the news and I read the news and I you know, I do all sorts of other jobs, but like, you know, for doing this, like I'm on X all the time. If I want something current information wise, I want to know what's going on right now, I check X. I don't check anybody else. I don't just go on and do a Google search. I don't go and do I use some other, you know, I use like I use the Epic Times, I use Breitbart, I use Citizen Free Press, I use Brave News. Like I'll pull Brave News and it will even give me like just like the super biased news sources. And but like X is where you go if you want up to date stuff, like stuff right now, it's there. And imagine that's just cut out of your life. And you think people are just going to be like, screw it, I'll just use a different social media. And the big problem here is I think it centers on the election misinformation. That's a major threat. And that tells you a lot of what you need to know. There, you can infer from that what you may. But it's clearly very transparent to people that live in your country. They're going to understand why you're doing this. And do you think they're going to believe it's to protect them and to protect the institutions of your country? I doubt it, dude. There's no way people are that dumb. And I guess you just don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the people of my country want. I don't care. You know, or it was 170 million people. It was 170 million social media users. So, I don't know, but Elon Musk is just doing what his only real option is, aside from basically throwing somebody under the bus, because they know if they put legal representatives from X in Brazil, they're ordering them to abide by their rules. Like, he's gonna have to say yes, otherwise that poor person's gonna be. I mean, that's the only option. It's either don't have anybody there or put somebody there, and then you're going to have to just say how high when they tell you to jump. And it's crazy. We live in this time. How many wars were fought trying to spread democracy? You know, like, not even just wars, but like how much money and how much bloodshed and how much it was wasted trying to spread democracy around the world, right? Freedom, liberty. And then now we're taking it all away. And I assure you, you're like one bad election away in this country from it being gone. Like if certain groups had their way during the whole virus business, they would have been pretty bad. I think, like, you know, they would have, if they had it their way, how they would have been treating people would have been, I mean, you can imagine. So, all right, well, enough on that topic for now, I guess. I saw this was interesting. This is just kind of funny. I just had a question out of curiosity. So this is from the Daily Mail. Ever used Google Chrome in incognito mode? You could be entitled to up to $5,000 in compensation. Here's how you claim it. Okay. It's just a class action lawsuit from California. It has to do with, while you're in incognito mode, Google was still collecting your data. Shocking. Whenever you do anything, something's collecting your data. I just thought it would be, would you, let's just say for $5,000, would you go public with what your incognito mode data is for $5,000? Would you do it for 50 grand? I have nothing to hide. I would do it. I just wonder, like what if that was this law? It's not the lawsuit, but I just thought it'd be funny. Like, what if it was the lawsuit? But like, you can have this money, but you have to show us. We have to prove it was you. You have to show us what you were looking at, and then we can line it up with the data. Like, how many people would be like, nope, and then that would just make you look even more sketchy. So if you want to check that lawsuit out, it says from 2016 to 2023. If up to $5,000 from the user of the Chrome browser. How much money did they get sued for? I mean, is this like anybody can get this money? I mean, who hasn't used incognito mode before? I wasn't doing anything bad on it. Just used it, okay. Used it at like the library and stuff. So we had the wonderful Kamala Harris interview happen, which was like 7.5 minutes long. It wasn't that. It was longer than that. But I'm sure you all have been seeing it go around all day. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and force you to watch the whole thing. But there were just parts of this that it's really interesting to me, because we're coming up on the election. It's just a little teeny snippet of time away. A few things. We already knew that the whole thing is just going to be about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not the president right now. Joe Biden is. She is currently the vice president. She's directly tied to the current administration. They've been trying to distance her from the current administration. Why? Because we're being told that Biden is one of the most like accomplished presidents we've ever had in modern human history in the world. Why would they want to distance her from it? And then she's simultaneously trying to latch on to some of the accomplishments he had, like, well, we had record high inflation when we got in office, which is a lie, and we had record high gas prices, and we had the highest unemployment in history since the Great Depression, and Joe Biden fixed it, and I'm proud to be a part of that. It's like, okay, so inflation was like barely over, it was like 1.4% or something when they came into office. And it got to some of the highest numbers we've ever seen before. I know that people will be like, well, no, that's not true. Well, I'm sure if you include like the factors that actually matter, yes, it did. I just need to catch up and see what's going on here with this game. There's like a few minutes left. Oh, MSU got the ball back. They may survive this yet. But then unemployment was largely up to the governors to take care of, because governors were instituting orders where they were locking down people and making them stay home from their jobs. And like, you're claiming that Trump caused massive unemployment when it was mainly state governors that had the say in that kind of thing. Okay. But so she lied about, and then I've heard Biden say before that gas was, $5 a gallon when he got in office, which no, it wasn't. It was really cheap actually, compared to now. And then he comes in office and it almost immediately skyrockets. I mean, by 2022, gas was like over $4 a gallon, almost $5 a gallon in places around me in Michigan. Like it. So, but she'll want to attach herself to his accomplishments, but distance herself from other things. Well, I thought he was so accomplished. Shouldn't you want to be a part of this historic administration that's done so much? But it's a really pathetic show when you see the stuff, the way, the mannerisms, how uncomfortable she is. She is not comfortable in this role, and I don't really blame her. I wouldn't be comfortable in this presidential role. But I want to show you this clip. So apparently, according to some people online, there was 48 total minutes of this footage. And we saw 18 minutes of it released by CNN. And they didn't want to release the entire transcript for, it was a pre-taped interview, which is insane to me that a presidential candidate got to do a pre-taped interview with her freaking VP candidate sitting next to her as, like they said, an emotional support animal. And you're gonna and they pre-tape it and they're not gonna release the whole thing. Is anybody buying the legitimacy of this? People that are in the cult, sure. I know people, well, MAGA's a cult. Dude, Kamala Harris and her husband kissed wearing double masks. But you're right, MAGA's a cult. I'm not MAGA. I'm just saying, I'm a libertarian. More so than anything. I just think it's like interesting to me how you'll say that about them, but like you do things like that. You'll just do whatever current thing is, right? And so the people, case in point, she was one of the most unpopular president VPs in history. She talks about how Biden is snappy and with it, sharp as a tack, and in private he's with it. He's amazing. Whatever. No cognitive decline at all in private, and people believe it that somehow in private he is still with it. He just saves his cognitive decline for public, and the base buys it, and then he gets toppled, and this person that nobody knows who it is gets thrown into office, and within a matter of days, she's a phenomenon. And the people that support the party are just flipping over backwards with how amazing she is. And it's just the greatest candidate. It's just the greatest, one of the greatest moments in the history of this country. She's going to represent change. She's the future. As Ben Stiller said, we need change. Even though she's the vice president now, you're right, you need change. But, and they bought into it right away. Okay? So like, those people are the same ones that are going to watch this interview with a completely different take than me. They're going to go, oh, she did so great. 18 whole minutes. In the media, they asked her some tough questions, but then after, if she didn't give them the proper answer, they didn't dig further or try to push the issue. They just said, okay, move on to the next question. So I just want to show you this clip. I'm not going to watch a ton of this interview because it's all out there. You can check it out. But I just want to say, if you look at her, okay, look at Kamala Harris here. I really think she looks grossly stressed out, like aged, and like I bet you this interview is probably one of the most terrifying interviews of her life, because she's been told, people are complaining that you're not taking interviews with the press, you're not giving policy positions, you're not giving people actually anything. They need something. We need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. And the whole time she's probably like, I can't. And then finally, since they put it off for so long, they built it up to this thing where she had to do it in order to to even remotely stand a chance. And she knows she's a terrible interviewer. She knows she has anxiety really bad when it comes to this kind of stuff. She knows that she's a perfectionist, and if she screws up, she's going to start to panic and get in her head. And so what happens is they have this interview And it's like, this is it. This is the moment that so much of your future campaign hinges on this moment. And of course, you're going to sit down and be sick if you're already struggling to handle those moments before. But you can look at the picture, look at the video clips of her, and she just looks. It looks rough.
I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration.
All right, I always do this thing where I have to double check and make sure I actually have the right. Okay. Because I'm always afraid the camera's on me. Okay.
Worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures.
Let me just say something here about this real quick. First of all, this is complete and utter crap for several reasons, which I'll get into. With what the Border Patrol has been dealing with over the last few years, I promise you, if you were going to give them 5 more border agents in some cash to do their job and not be worked to death, they would support the bill. Okay? Like, yeah, sure. If you're going to give me 5 more employees where I can actually go home and see my wife and kids, of course they're going to support the bill. But this idea that this was some groundbreaking bipartisan thing and the reason why like Trump shut it down, I'll get into it after this, but just keep that in mind. Like, this is complete crap. Like, everything that comes out of this campaign is complete crap.
Of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask about...
Can I just look at this guy? Look at Tim Walz.
And a pain
He's concerned, Grandpa.
So
you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask about...
Not only push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Why is she talking like that? Why is her teeth like that?
Pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask about...
Not only push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Okay. Well, she would make sure that the bipartisan border bill would come to her desk and she would sign it. Okay, then why couldn't you do it now? But also, you understand that where's Donald Trump right now? What is he doing? Let's think about this. Donald Trump, he must be a senator? No. Congressman? No. President? No. All right. He's running a golf course and running a business, and he's not in office right now. No, your bipartisan border bill, Trump did not shut it down. He's not in office. Like, what are you freaking talking about? Like, I feel like I'm insane. So you're saying that he shut it down. Why? Because he's so influential on the Republican Party? Well, most of the money in your bipartisan border bill was not going to the border. It was mainly going to fund more people dying in Ukraine, which we love to give money to. We love to give money so it can go off and lead to death and killing and pointless slaughter. That's where most of your money went. In the bipartisan border bill, it didn't even really do much to cap immigration. Like, it was like they were going to set a daily limit, which was still an obscene amount of people. And there was going to be amnesty involved. And it's just this premise that everything is Trump's fault. It's very reminiscent of the Obama administration. I remember when Obama was president, everything was the Republicans' fault. Everything. You have to understand it's all the Republicans' fault. It's the Republicans. You can't get anything done because of those pesky Republicans. And I just like, and of course now it's Trump. And it's amazing to me how entirely irrelevant the Republican Party is in anything. They don't even talk about them. They'll talk about conservatives in a way that they're allied with Trump, but that's it. They don't talk about the Republican Party anymore. The Republicans have nothing to do with it. It's Trump, even when Trump's not in office. But your bipartisan border bill is total crap. But that, if you just see that snippet, look at how she looks, her body language. She's very uncomfortable. She's very uncomfortable. She would rather be anywhere in the world right now than in that interview. Which I would be too, but you're running for president. You're the nominee. So, like, and he was genuinely there just to be emotional support. And this is it. This is your big moment, everybody that wants to vote for her. Did anything she say solidify your position on her? Why? And did anything? They try to act like, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask her the questions that have been going around for a little while now, the real pressing questions, and then when she doesn't answer them, she just moves on to the next question. And they still had to cut half the video, more than half, and they still had to, hide the transcripts, and they still had to. The whole thing is, it's rough. It's rough. Okay, it's very uncomfortable. It's very awkward, and she offers nothing. She has no real positions on anything. It's just about Trump. If you want to vote for Harris Walls, you're doing it to keep Trump out of office. That's it. You're not doing it because you want anything else in this world aside from that. Convince me otherwise, because they don't have real policy positions. They don't have anything that she's currently in office, hasn't done any of this stuff. It's baffling to me. This election is about to get real interesting. So I just wanted to go down my X feed here for you. Okay, I do this. I over prepare for these videos I do, where I'll have a million links and stuff up, which of course, like, I don't end up covering about a third of what I use. And I could probably just do an entire thing just showing you the bookmarks in my X account. Michigan State won 16-10. Yeesh. I just want to see what the stats say. Michigan State's quarterback, Aiden Childs, completed 10 passes out of 24 attempts for 114 yards. 2 picks. He did have a rushing touchdown, but all right, so just show you my feed. Okay. It's Friday night, and I don't really get sleep that much these days. And I'd rather just do this than sleep. I'd be exhausted during the day, whatever. I'm having some, I've just been having a hard time sleeping lately. So I'm a recent graduate. I got my PhD. May 10th was my defense. I passed. And so, like, jobs. My wife's a medical student. We have kids, so I kind of have to work from home, take care of the kids, and it's just been kind of a rough go. So I've been doing a lot of just work from home myself, freelancing and just doing all sorts of things. So I stay up late, usually just doing research and working. And then, like, when I lay down to sleep, it's just, you get the mind racing. So I'm like, I would just rather sit up and record some videos, chit chat to people, I guess, that want to do this. Once I have good internet connection, I could do like the whole live streamy thing and people could talk to me. My only issue is my internet kind of sucks right now. So this is the best that y'all got. Now, my feed, or my bookmarks page. Let me share with you. So first of all, this, like I said the other day, if you really want to have a stupid, want to see some of the dumbest things you'll ever see and pure lies and just delusions, go to this account. It's called Kamala HQ. And this used to be the Biden-Harris HQ. So you have this. So this here says, who's surprised? Trump says he'll vote to uphold Florida's 6-week abortion ban. This is just blatantly not true. And they've been doing this thing with the Harris campaign where they're claiming Trump wants to ban abortion, and they also are claiming that J.D. Vance is somehow anti-IVF and he wants to ban it. I don't understand where they're getting this information from, other than they're going, okay, what we can do is we'll create stereotype of old school Christian conservative guy, white guy. His wife probably wears like a jean skirt and scrubs the floor all day, you know, and he drives his Chevy Bel Air to work, and with his briefcase, and then he comes home and he's expecting dinner on the table from his wife, and they sleep in separate beds, and like that's like the premise. This is their idea. It's either that or it's like Bubba from the swamp, you know, down in wherever, eating raw crayfish and drinking Bud Light. It's like that's their idea of conservative. So their premise here is that Trump wants to ban abortion. He does not want to ban abortion. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to true conservatives. Trump he's a New York Democrat. Okay. I really doubt that he has strong feelings about banning it. He just, and the idea of him overturning Roe v. Wade is absurd. It's a Supreme Court issue, and it's based off of constitutional law. It's based off of precedent, is why they overturned it. Because the whole premise was based off of bad laws, bad precedent. That's what the whole thing was. You can do the research. It's a state's issue. And he said, I'm leaving it a state's issue. Now this clip, or this picture says, he'll vote to uphold Florida's 6-week abortion ban. Now, watch this. This is literally today. This says, former President Trump is no on Florida's abortion amendment, for saying the amendment is too extreme.
Disagreed with that right from the early primaries. When I heard about it, I disagreed with it. At the same time, the Democrats are radical because the 9 months is just a ridiculous situation where you can do an abortion in the 9th month. And, you know, some of the states like Minnesota and other states have it where you could actually execute the baby after birth. And all of that stuff is unacceptable. So I'll be voting no for that reason.
So he's voting no. He's blatantly saying here that he thinks, like, you know, Florida's, it's like a heartbeat bill, I believe, is too extreme. And then he's saying, so it's like you either want that or you want birth and after, which is like, whoa, okay, your take on this maybe differently than mine, but to me, I'm like, that just seems, I can't even fathom it. I cannot fathom it. As a father, no, like, sorry, that's just, if you stand by that, that's crazy. Because at that point, we're getting real sticky on the details of whose rights we're talking about when it's at full term. So you're talking about this clip, though. They're saying they've been pushing this thing where he's saying that he's going to ban it. Like, notice how this is the most important issue in the world to these people. Like, it doesn't matter. A lot of the voters, they'll go interview them. Why are you going to vote for Kamala Harris? Well, because she's a woman of color, and she wants to protect our reproductive rights. Like, that is an overwhelming issue. And because he doesn't want to ban it and he wants to make it a states' rights thing, they just lie. They freaking just lie. All they do is lie. Okay? Go down the feed here. Sorry, I don't know if I just did something. Let me see. Okay. Let's just do this. Let's just go down this road together. Okay, so here, ready for the lies. Trump says immigrants are poisoning our country. Ready?
But what's happening to our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly because they're going into the classrooms, they're taking the seats, and they don't even speak English. It's crazy. And we have our people that aren't going into a classroom. We have students that were there last year. They're not allowed into the school this year. They're not allowed. It's crazy.
Yep,
but
he said immigrants are poison. So what you do if you watch this account and you scroll through it, you got to read the captions and then click on the video or the headline. The voters, the supporters, only read headlines 9 times out of 10. They could be like, Trump says, we need to nuke Russia or something, right? And then it'll be like a video clip, an 8-second clip that says nothing of the sort, and then the comments will be like, what an evil psycho, like they just, whatever the headline says. Trump says he will purge America's military leadership and replace them with MAGA loyalists, echoing Project 2025. This is another thing, okay? Trump has disavowed Project 2025 a million times. Project 2025 is a Heritage Foundation thing. Conservative think tank that has drummed up this project, and it's really just about going back to a more constitutional basis for this country as far as how it's supposed to be run, checking the power of the administrative state. That's really the big thing here. And they're obsessed with this because they know they continue, if they say it enough, the people that support them are going to become enraged about Project 2025 without even knowing what it is or reading it. And every other freaking tweet is Project 2025. Project 2025. Look at this. Ready? Trump fantasizes about
some of the things that you might.
Trump fantasizes about Project 2025 as his plan to take total control of American lives. Ready? Watch this.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you might be able to do as president.
well, you can do everything. President has such power. It has such power.
Yep. He said he wants to take total control over your lives because you can do everything. The president has such power. Like, this is the campaign this is the campaign account for Kamala Harris's campaign, everybody. This is what they do. Go read the headline, click on the thing, and it's never even remotely the case. So it tells you what they have on this guy, and they have nothing. Nothing. Oh, brother. Let's see. Would you veto a national abortion ban?
Would you veto a federal abortion ban?
I'm not going to have to think about it because it's working out so well right now. The states are doing it.
Yep, he refuses to answer. Look at this. Carla Sands is doing a fantastic job. It's a 10-second clip.
Ambassador Carla Sands, who did a fantastic job a little while ago, and she was a great ambassador.
Carla Sands is a Project 2025 author. Like, what does this mean? Trump on GOP rep Byron Donalds. You have one is smart. That one is smart. You have smart ones. And then you have some that aren't quite so good.
I'd say, Mr. Congressman, oh, look who we have. Byron, stand up, please. Superstar of the future. He's already a superstar, but he's a superstar of the future. Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. He's great. He's great. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good. But we have a group of people that are really great. But
yep, because he's from Florida. But they're saying that, they're implying that he's saying that about, because everything's about identity politics to the left. So Like, what do you talk? Like, they do this thing where they cut up these 7-second clips and stuff. But beside the point, it just shows you how big of a joke this whole campaign is. You have this tonight. Some psychopath rushes the stage. So we're talking earlier about when it comes to free speech, especially with what's going on with. See, me as a libertarian, I'm a very staunch libertarian. I am a, I'm a Mises Rothbardian libertarian, Ron Paul libertarian, but I'm just very much for this country as it was intended by the people that founded it. So I'm a free speech absolutist. Always, and to me, threats to free speech is catastrophic. Like, it is the most dangerous thing to me when it comes to my ability to thrive as a human being. And people can say to me whatever they want, whether I get offended or agree or disagree or hate it or whatever. I don't care. Say it to me. Say it to my face. I don't care. Okay? Like, you have the right to do that. And whether it's something I disagree with and what have you, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just how this works. You have the right to do that. And so, like, this stuff scares the crap out of me. Now, this is Kamala Harris in 2019, before the election.
You look at what he's been tweeting today, directed at the whistleblower, directed at so many people. I frankly think that based on this and all we've seen him do before, including attacking members of Congress, that he frankly his Twitter account should be suspended. He is irresponsible with his words in a way that could result in harm to other people. And so the privilege of using those words in that way should probably be taken from him. Should probably be taken from him. Should probably be taken from him. He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
I know you wrote
especially around our democracy.
Twitter,
our democracy.
And the CEO, Jack Dorsey, and asked him to take away the president's Twitter handle, his account. How is that not a violation of free speech? I mean, the president has the same rights that you have, that I have, and how would that not just be a slippery slope? Or
I've heard that argument, but here's the thing, Jake. First of all, a corporation, which is what Twitter is, it does not have it has obligations, and in this case, Twitter has terms of use policy. And their terms of use dictate who receives the privilege of speaking on that platform and who does not. And Donald Trump has clearly violated the terms of use, and there should be a consequence for that.
On
there should be a consequence for that.
Based on
not to mention the fact
speech?
that he has used his platform, being the president of the United States, in a way that has been about inciting fear and potentially inciting harm against a witness to what might be a crime against our country and our democracy. And for that reason, I do believe that that it's clear that he has violated the terms of.
Okay, so there you have it. Oh, Montel Williams says that if you're a Trump supporter, you have a mental illness. Let's see. What other fun things? Because of Donald Trump, my husband and I are desperately trying to start a family through IVF, but JD Vance voted against protecting IVF. Yep, that's what he wants to do. Okay, so I wanted to go over this real quick. What else we got here?
And these online platforms, which are so powerful in their ability to impact perception about an issue and to influence behaviors. Let's be clear about that. There have to be standards, and he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that shooter in his manifesto was informed by how Donald Trump uses that platform. And this is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you can respond.
So, look, I don't just want to push Donald Trump off Twitter. I want to push him out of the White House. That's our job.
Join me in saying that his Twitter account should be shut down.
No, let's figure out
No?
why it is that
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their...
You get it, right? That's the person that is running to be the president of the United States. And sure, she'll pretend like, no, I changed. Or that's not my hard stance on it. Just like a fracking thing. Well, I know I said that I would ban fracking from day one, but that's not my real stance on it. It's really unbelievable to me that people support this person, but they will. I know plenty of people in my life that will. Plenty of people in my life will have a sign in their yard that would have, if let's say the week before the election they say nope, we have to run Biden legally, they would take that sign Harris out and they would stick the Biden sign back in, or whoever it is. So they like, but this is how she is. You know, she has these feelings. I'm telling you, they would pass hate speech stuff in 10 seconds. So also allegedly, she was claiming she worked at McDonald's when she was in high school, like many people do. And apparently, they dropped that line from their campaign because, and there's no verifiable proof that she ever worked there. Weird. It's crazy that she would lie about such a thing. So I wanted to read this stupid thing. It was an article I shared earlier. It's by, I don't even know what Alternet is. Besides for, I get dog food. I write, like I worked in pet supplies forever, so I do copywriting for pet supply companies. So I do a lot of research for pet supply companies, and now I get pet food ads all the time. If you are a pet owner and you would like to buy a very good cat or dog food that is a dry food, this brand here, NND Farmina, good stuff. Get it. This here, a no get. All right. So a mysterious, this is from Alternet. If you want to see what Alternet's all about, look at, they have an entire thing just about Trump. And if you go to their homepage, guess what it's going to be about? Trump. Everything's about Trump. Trump. Like these websites, when someday, when they're no longer going to have Trump to have TDS about 24/7, what are they going to write about? You're never going to be able to go back to being a news site. And you're never going to be able to exist without that person to hate, without that hatred in your heart 24/7. You just, they hate him. They hate him so much. They hate him so much. I promise you, like there's one person that I know I say I promise you a lot. That's the thing I say, sorry. I can almost guarantee that if they had their choice on somebody, they could just do whatever they wanted. You know, they'd pick that guy. So this is this article by this really cutting edge piece of journalism here. And it says, a mysterious group of Republicans is secretly rewriting the Constitution, by Tom Hartman. Republicans have pulled off a coup. Okay, seriously? Seriously? Is your blood boiling already? Oh, this is another good food here too. Oh, I missed it. Stella and Chewy's. Okay. Republicans have pulled off a coup against an entire branch of government. And nobody seems to have noticed. But if you pay attention, it's shocking. Like, do you see this word, right? Coup? Republicans and coup. Huh? That's a funny thing, right? Sometimes you can learn as much from attending what Republicans suddenly stopped saying as from what they are talking about. What? Did AI write this? Sometimes you can learn as much from attending to what Republicans suddenly... This is very... I bet you AI wrote, but it just seems like that type of thing. In this case, it's their half-century-long obsession with convening a constitutional convention to rewrite the Constitution. Under Article 5 of our Constitution, when 2/3 of the states formally call for a con to rewrite our nation's founding document, it officially comes into being. Then they can make all the changes they want, like enshrining the right of billionaires and corporations to bribe judges and politicians, or insert the doctrine of corporate personhood into the document, or simply throw the whole thing out and start over. Many of the right, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life. Many on the right are hoping to insert a national ban on abortion into a new constitution. Others want to end the right of women to vote, do away with all anti-discrimination laws, outlaw labor unions, or return the selection of senators to the states. I hope we decide to turn the elections of senators to the states, because that's the way our founders intended it. What's the point of having it? Just another popularity contest if you just elect them like you do your representatives. It's stupid. That should get turned back to the states. So far, 19 Republicans controlled states have signed on to a call for a convention under Article 5. The project, heavily funded by right-wing billionaires, even has its own website, conventionofstates.com. Just a sampling of recent GOP supporters of the project. Marco Rubio. One of the things I'm going to do on my first day in office, I will put the prestige and power of presidency behind a constitutional convention of the states. We need a convention of the states to restore the rule of law in America by Abbott. Article 5 of the convention states is the best way to bring power back to the states and to the people. We need to go back to our founding document, back to our Constitution. So you're telling us, they're saying here they want to rewrite the Constitution, where this congressman says we need to go back to our founding document, back to our Constitution. Oh, dude, these leftists, man, it's a mental disorder. Like, it really is. The Convention of States project, I think it's a solution to Washington's overreach. Here we go, Project 2025. Blah, 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 blah. The simple and obvious answer is that Republicans are rewriting the Constitution right now, this year and last, through their proxies among 6 corrupt Republicans on the Supreme Court. That's what they are. The Supreme Court judges are corrupt Republicans. What do you think would happen if the majority was Democrats on the Supreme Court? You think that they would be, they would totally just be honest and they would be fair? Yeah, you're kidding yourself. What's the current government system doing to their political others? Oh, I know, throwing them in jail, bringing up fake charges, going after people. Simple and obvious answer is that Republicans are going to saw that, but this I don't want to reread that stupid sentence again. Having succeeded in seizing the court, the GOP has been able to relax about their plan to call a convention. So far, just in the past 2 years, Republicans on the court have taken an axe to the Constitution. They have turned presidents who are inclined to break the law into kings or monarchs, who are no longer accountable to police, courts, or juries because a president. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get through this. The stupidity of this. I really am. They're talking about presidential immunity. Okay. Ended the constitutional rights of women to their own bodies because it's not a constitutional issue. Gutted the power of federal agencies to protect consumers and our environment. They're talking about getting rid of 3-letter administrative state agencies to make laws that they legally don't have the right to do. But they do it to protect you. What an idiot. Fully legalize the bribery of politicians so long as bribes are paid after the deed is done, making it a tip rather than before, overriding multiple constitutional prohibitions on bribery. Overturn parts of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution and the Voting Rights Act to legalize racially discriminatory gerrymandering where it benefits Republicans. Rewritten the Second Amendment and legalized bump stocks to put functionally automatic weapons of war on our streets. Oh, what? Dude, I'm sorry. I can't even read this. They want to end gay marriage because that's been said ever once. They want to end contraception and the right to possess pornography or read banned books and meaningful regulation of dude, this is the most clown-ass article I've ever read in my life. Billionaire-owned social media, further gutting of union rights and the insertion of religion into schools nationwide. Oh no! That schools will have to know that religions exist? No, sorry, they'll have to know that Christianity exists? No, not that. Apparently, we could see an end to gay marriage, because that's ever been a thing. Trump's the only president we've had, of course, until this stupid Biden administration, but Biden was openly against gay marriage for years. Trump came in supporting it. Obama didn't. The right to possess pornography, I'm sure, or read banned books, because, porn is just so good for society as it is. And then like this one, they are going to ban, or they're going to end meaningful regulation of billionaire owned social media. What are you talking about there? Talking about Twitter? Because everybody that owns social media is a billionaire. Like if you own like Zuckerberg, he's a billionaire. Jack Dorsey left X as a billionaire. Trump's a billionaire. Musk is a billionaire. Your point? The guy that owns Telegram's a billionaire. No, you're talking about X. You're talking about X won't censor anymore. Okay, so anyways, this is just stupid. You get the point how dumb this is. 90% of Americans want stronger gun control laws. Yeah, I'm sure that happened. According to Michael Moore, he's a non-biased source. They want free pre-kindergarten. They want the morbidly rich and corporations to pay their damn taxes. There's no proof that forcing the wealthy to pay more taxes will be beneficial for you at all. And guess what? The government won't even take in more tax revenue that way. Instead, they'll find another way around it. It's do actual economic research. Okay? They want a higher minimum wage because that's going to help anything. They want to end student debt and free college. Okay, well, that's going to do anything. That's going to totally make college worthwhile. And you can't just end debt. 72% want X. This is like, where did you find this poll? I bet you I could go talk to like a dozen people right now, and I would ask if they want stronger gun control laws, and I wouldn't get a 90% consensus. Or a higher minimum wage. Like, this is so dumb. None of these are happening. So what they're saying is, this article is saying, oh, where did it go? So what this thing is saying is that, okay, let me articulate this. They're mad because the Republicans want to get the Constitution back to what it used to be, and the presidential power to be back what it used to be, while putting a check on the overwhelming bloated administrative state. Okay, you're mad about that the Republicans want to put in place something that they want. But you're mad that you can't just do whatever you want. And like everything in there is, dude, how, if you're a Democrat, how are you not at least an independent? If you hate Trump with all your guts, how are you not just like an independent or something? Because these people are psychotic. Like, this is just, there is no veracity to any of this. There's not. They're not going to end gay marriage. They're not going to end your precious abortions. They're not going to end pornography. Oh no. They're not going to ban books. When they say they don't want, but they want to ban books, they're talking about, they don't want inappropriate books in schools given to children of a certain age. Even when Florida passed that bill that everybody's freaking out about, it went up to a certain grade. I'm sorry, but if you're like an elementary school student, you have no business seeing that kind of stuff. Like, give me a break. Can we protect the innocence of children somewhat? That's what we're supposed to protect children, dude. Like, how sick are you? And then, so then you're pissed about that. So what you're saying is you're pissed that you can't have, your precious reproductive rights. You're pissed that you can't put those books in schools. You're pissed about, you're pissed that they won't censor Elon on Twitter for you. You're pissed, or they won't force Elon to censor you. You're pissed that they can't take people's guns away. You're pissed that they can't, you're pissed that they won't let the big ass bureaucracy, administrative, 3-letter agencies rule, like have power completely willy-nilly, and they can make laws. You're pissed about that. Okay. You're pissed because you want higher minimum wage. This is the quote unquote leftist living wage argument, because whatever that means, a living wage, like minimum wage laws, are not beneficial for the people that make minimum wage. People that make minimum wage will be overwhelmingly harmed by minimum wage laws, because you're not going to be able to get a job. These people don't understand how economics works. They don't know how business ownership works. They don't know that there are costs to running a business. Taxing the piss out of billionaires isn't going to give you any more money. It's going to go to the government if they make any more money, and they're going to blow it on stupid stuff that you will not benefit from. And then what will happen is, if the billionaires will no longer invest in production in the United States, especially if you're taxing unrealized gains, they will no longer invest here, and they will go elsewhere. And then you will have less jobs. You will have less tax money. Like, it's just, the whole thing is, taxes are a joke. Okay. You shouldn't have to pay taxes, and you already pay. Like, this idea that the rich people don't pay tax. What about inflation? Because everybody suffers from the effects of inflation, except for the government. And inflation is a tax, whether you want to believe it or not. They want to end the electoral college, according to this clown, and put term limits on SCOTUS justices. They want to end the 65% want to end the electoral college. What does that mean? Go ask most people out there what the electoral college even is, or how it works. They hear all the time how precious their democracy is, and how democracy is God in this country. And they think that the majority should rule in a democracy. Democracy is stupid. Democracy is dangerous. Democracy was never the intention. That's why we have a representative republic. Because the founders knew, based off of all the philosophy going back to the ancients, that a pure democracy was a bad thing. So that's what this person wants. Democrats want that. They want a pure democracy. They want censorship as long as it protects their views. They want that. They want to tax. You should, according to them, you should be punished if you make money. Like, somehow being a billionaire, you got there because you hoarded all this money and you're greedy. They just don't understand how it works. So if you really want to go read something stupid, check out this website, alternet.org. Look at this. Oh, Lord. Ready for the... Oh, my God. This person's an idiot. The second reason Harris and Walz should be preparing to act immediately after they're sworn in office on January 20th of next year. God, look at this. You won't even say the word God. What the... Dude, what a clown. Is that a president's power is at its peak the moment she takes office. After that, it's largely downhill as opposition politicians and the press pile on, even members of their own party begin to highlight the cracks in the new administration's policy jobs. That's why FDR, LBJ, Reagan, Obama, and Biden all got so much done in their first 100 days. They hadn't started out with their top and most controversial priorities, they never would have been able to get them. Oh, thank God. Thank God Biden got so much done his first 100 days. Thank God that FDR did. The leftist obsession with FDR just pisses me off. FDR was not a good president. Sorry. FDR is the most overrated president in American history. Yep, that's right. I said it. Overrated presidents: FDR, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt. Okay, some of the most overrated presidents. I used to be a Teddy Roosevelt. I'm a historian. That's like when I was younger. I loved Teddy Roosevelt till I realized what Teddy Roosevelt was responsible for. And people hear Lincoln and go, "What you said?" Like I just, there are admirable aspects to Lincoln, but there are also very, very not so great things. Okay, if you do the research. Now, this is somebody who I abide by the founding philosophy of this country. I cannot abide by big government presidents. Reagan too. So overall, I think presidents in general have done a terrible job. And FDR, #1 most overrated president. So in presidents I flat out don't like, you named them all. I don't like FDR. So I really don't like Woodrow Wilson, like with a burning passion. He is my least favorite president in history. I don't like FDR. I don't like LBJ. I don't like Obama. I don't like any of them. And Joe Biden was complete catastrophe. So go ahead and praise what they got done their first 100 days. What FDR got done in his first 100 days set you up for this direction we're on now. Yep, where we piss government money away left, right, and center because it's good for the economy. Oh, well, I got that off my chest. Well, everybody, watch this. I really appreciate you watching my videos. If you could help me out, grow my channel, tell people about this. This is what I do. I sit here and just talk crap. It's enjoyable. It's relaxing. It's except for when I read really dumb things. My day job is I'm a writer and historian. So like, this is just kind of, I have an obsession with politics and news and culture and stuff. So this is a way for me to offload it and enjoy doing it. And if I sat here recording, I'm an hour and a half in, I could do this for like 8 hours a day and not stop. So I'm calling it here because it's late. I'm going to watch Stanford and TCU play, which should be a good one. I'm kidding, of course. Dude, there's so many cats outside. I'm a cat owner. I love cats. I have 3 of them. I'm a crazy cat guy. There are a lot of feral cats. When I leave my windows open, you can hear feral male cats and feral female cats together. And it is terrifying sounding. Like, it sounds like a banshee screaming. So that's what's happening outside my window now. It freaks me out. All right. Well, God bless. I'll be back with a video tomorrow. And I would very much appreciate you moving this along. Follow, or you can subscribe to my Substack. It's free. If you want to help me out financially, I'm a recent graduate. My wife's in medical school. I have no money, and I'm trying to do my best to make it. So if you want to support me on there, that would be fantastic. Other than that, enjoy my free content, I guess, for now. And I will I'll be back with you. And if you have any interest in a book on Civil War medicine, it's a book about medical education before the Civil War and how medical education, specifically the University of Michigan, trained doctors who served in the Civil War, how their medical education applied. If that sounds interesting to you, and it does include sections on the Civil War itself, let me know. I'm trying to fund research, and I would just like to see anybody be willing to, even if I just started some type of a crowdsourcing or crowdfunding campaign to finish my research. You don't have to give me a dime, but just help spread the word. That's all I'm asking, okay? Thanks for watching, and enjoy your weekend. It's a good Labor Day weekend. I'm almost 37 in a few days here, which is mind-blowing. And just, you know, be grateful you live in the greatest country on earth, regardless of what's going on. And really, really, really be certain you know what you're doing this upcoming election. All right, everybody. Have a good night.